welcome to the Movies That Made Us Do It. Me and Matt are back, and neither of us have really watched anything, so this should be an interesting episode. Although, there was Star Trek Picard. Episode 4, Absolute Candor. Should we start with that?
Yeah.
Since it's the only thing we've seen.
Yeah, we can start with that.
So, where were we when we last left Picard? They were still on Earth, because they hadn't left Earth for bloody ages.
On Earth.
Stuck, and I really felt like episode 3 was dragging its heels horrendous. Episode 3 was probably my least favourite so far, because it felt like it was just dragging its heels. It was like, come on, let's just get on with this. They've only got 11 episodes, and this is what really worries me. There is not a lot of time.
What I don't understand is this. It's clear that these episodes have been put together from, because there were more episodes. They filmed more stuff, and it looks like some of these stuff in this scene, some of the scenes in these episodes are mished together from different episodes, I think.
Oh, really?
Some of the conversations feel like they're from different episodes that were put together.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Which makes me think, well, how bloody long was he on fucking Earth for if there were more episodes on it?
I mean, the thing that's confusing me as well is that this is supposedly the most expensive Star Trek series they've made.
Well, I think it all just went on him.
It must have done, and the de-aging, I guess, can't have been cheap. But it just seems like we haven't seen much yet to see where this budget's really gone. So I'm curious about that.
Certainly not on bloody some of the designs and some of the equipment.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll get to that. So they finally left Earth, and they were heading to Free Cloud. But on the way, Picard decides to take a detour to one of the planets that the Romulan refugees were sent to.
Yeah.
That's what I understood of it. I've only watched this episode once, by the way.
The first group of refugees is what is that Picard moved, basically.
Yes, yeah. So
it actually starts with him on that planet.
Yeah, of course.
Beaming down to that planet.
I think this is going to be a thing they do every episode now. It's going to be a flashback.
14 years ago. And it's Picard beaming down to see these I was going to say monks then. Nuns. This order of
ninja nuns.
Romulan ninja nuns that we've never heard of before. Who have taken in this boy and...
Oh, that's right. They had to take in the boy because there was nowhere else for him to go. Picard promises that he'll find somewhere for the boy because they are sexist and don't allow men in their group or whatever as part of their belief.
They're an all-female group.
All-female group, but he's obviously there because of the relocation. He says, I promise I'll find somewhere for him, and then they hear about Mars.
Well, more than that, I think it's the actual stuff with him basically sword fighting with him, reading him the Three Musketeers.
Oh, that's right, yes. Yeah. He kind of... I guess it's insinuated that Picard basically is his moral compass, is this character's kind of... gave him his moral code and gave him his...
sort of father figure.
His father figure, who abandons him.
Who complete... Yeah, we'll get to that. I mean, still... Yeah, anyway. He gets the call that Mars has been attacked, and then he leaves, and then it's like 14 years later, and
that's right. So he gets
going to the back.
Gets told about the synth attack, and then leaves and doesn't come back until 14 years later, where we're up to date.
Yeah, and I don't understand why he's on this ship. It's not his ship.
No.
But he's commandeered. Not only does he have his own quarters, he also has commandeered the Hollow Suite to make a recreation of his house.
I had a real...
Why?
So en route, this hospitality hologram, one of the many holograms on the ship, is going through with Picard and said, I've got the chateau, down. Someone scanned it before they left, including the necklace.
Including the necklace, yeah.
They had it scanned, and they've now reproduced it on the holodeck perfectly. And Picard's like, oh yeah, it's he's like, it's good, it's fine.
Yeah.
I was confused, to be honest, as to why he wanted the chateau, because in the last episode he literally said, I always tried to feel like at home here, but I wasn't.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought, like, wouldn't it have been better if it was like the Enterprise D or E? Like in the holodeck, it was like his ready room or something. Would have been way better because it's like
his quarters or his ready room.
Because that's where he felt at home, and it's kind of weird that if it had been a struggle for him to have left his home in the last episode, this would have made sense. Mm-hmm. But because he literally said he says to what's her name,
Daj? No, not Daj.
No, is it Elnor? No, Elnor's the oh god, I forget all the names. Anyway, the female Romulan housekeeper. He says to her in the last episode, Mrs. Doyle. He says to Mrs. Doyle that he tried to fit in here, and he'd spent all these years trying to be here, but it's just not right for him. It's not home for him, and that he wanted to get back out there, basically, which is they've been saying for the last 3 episodes and not doing. So I thought it was a bit weird that he then gets onto a spaceship and then immediately is like, I want to be in the chateau again, and decides to commandeer the holodeck to make it the chateau. Now, I'm assuming, I didn't realise this, but now that you've said that they've squashed a bunch of episodes together, I wonder whether they recut things and shot a few more scenes just to kind of be like, well, we actually originally shot these scenes in the chateau, so let's make out that he changes the holodeck to look like that, so that they can still not have to reshoot the whole scene. They just reshoot a few parts. That would make sense to me, and that would kind of explain, because you're right, actually, because Raffi's character goes from like fuming angry with him to like really friendly in like the space of a scene, and it is really jarring and weird.
Not only that, it's what? Jesus Christ, she's like the most disrespectful person I have ever.
I'm not a fan of her.
Is it that she gets to talk to him like absolute shit, and he just sort of like rolls over?
He just takes it. I mean, a lot of this series is him taking it from people.
God. Well, we're gonna get to that later, the apology stuff, but Jesus, and the thing with the fucking holograms, what the hell is that?
I like the holograms. I know you don't. I actually really like it.
I don't understand. But what gets me is, I mean, he doesn't like himself.
No.
And his crew has obviously died at some point.
Yes.
But why would you make loads of yourself? That just seems
really
egotistical.
I really like it. I like it, and I actually really like his character as well.
It just seems. It doesn't.
And I would say,
for me,
I would say this is the first episode so far where the swear didn't annoy me. It actually made me laugh. I actually didn't mind it. It kind of worked.
I glossed over that.
It's with the hospitality hologram when he walks in. He's like, I fucking hate that hologram.
Oh,
and I like that the hospitality hologram immediately disappears when he walks in the room, because he's like, I know you don't want me here.
Well, some people are suggesting that he himself is a hologram.
I'm wondering.
Make sense if he's got that.
I'm wondering if he's going to be dead by the end of the series, and then by season 2 it will just be the holograms. But I don't know. Maybe. No, he's clearly alive because of
the wound. But I mean, that could be a hologram just to make
That's
him
a
look
weird
like
hologram.
Make him look like he's human. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that would be an interesting twist if the whole time
the whole ship is just
a
dead ship.
It's just a dead ship and holograms. That's kind of a cool idea, and it would be a really cool revelation if he wasn't aware that he was a hologram, and then suddenly he becomes aware of it, and he's like, "Oh, actually, I'm a hologram the whole time."
I mean, it doesn't really make sense the way he's got. These holograms, because things like the gunners and the navigation and stuff is like, you just have
tell the ship to do it.
You just have autopilot.
Well, I mean, that's effectively what it is, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's effectively what it is.
It's like an avatar for it, I suppose.
Well, unless he's programmed them and he's like, well, I have knowledge in all of these fields, but I can't do everything at once, so I will program a hologram to have that knowledge and do it for me. I don't really know. It's a bit weird, and it's weird that like. The hologram, the tactical hologram, and we'll get to that scene in a bit, but the tactical hologram gives him shit while they're in the middle of a battle. And it's like, surely you just want something to do the job, not backchat or be awkward.
I think it was quite funny that he came in with a hangover, which I did think that was actually quite funny.
I like it. I really like the hologram thing. I know you're not a fan. I genuinely, really. I'm really enjoying the hologram thing, and I really like Rios as a character. Raffi, I cannot get behind.
No.
I think she's just really awful at the moment. I'm hoping. I keep thinking like maybe next episode I'll start to like her.
There's
not enough episodes.
4 episodes in.
Yeah.
And I haven't actually got a hold of any of the characters really.
I'm kind of like, I think Picard obviously. Rios is kind of coming a bit more. I'm starting to like his character and understand his character and you know what's going on there. The scientist lady, the AI lady.
Yeah,
synth.
I'm annoying, by the way.
Yes, she is that Joss Whedon character that I can't stand. But nothing more than that. I'm assuming she's working for the Tal Shiar now.
I think so.
Under duress, maybe.
She's going to be turn out to be a wrong one, isn't she?
Or coerced anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. So we finally got the crew together, kind of. But Picard decides to take a detour to this planet and returns after 14 years, and the Romulans fucking hate him.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like he expected them to be all like welcoming, and I was like, really?
Yeah.
You expect them to be welcoming after 14 years of not seeing you and them living in like
squalor,
absolute fucking squalor and poverty.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna love you, mate.
Yeah, they're gonna welcome you with open arms. But he goes to visit the sisterhood or whatever. I can't forget what they're called. I've only watched this episode once, by the way, so my memory of it is fading quickly. And they catch up with Elnor. So it is Elnor, isn't it? He's the Romulan the Romulan elf thing. So it turns out that they they're like ninjas for hire, kind of, but you don't hire them. You have to tell them your story, and it turns out that if it's a no-win situation, if you're a no-hope cause, then they will take on your cause. And after an argument and a bit of back and forth between Elnor and Picard, because Elnor's like, "Oh, you abandoned me, and you don't love me, or whatever, you don't like me,"
which was so bad.
He's not. I'm not quite sure what he was. Whether it was the dialogue or whether it was the actor, because it was kind of like he was trying to be alien. He kind of came across really childish.
I want to say it's the dialogue and not the actor, but I don't know.
It's hard to tell at this point because we haven't seen much.
I mean, the dialogue in general has been pretty awful anyway. So
it has. The dialogue has been a real, and there are some doozies in this episode.
And it's all, don't you think there's a real difference between when you get to the Picard stuff? And then you move to the Romulan and the synthetic bin.
Right. So
the dialogue with them is absolutely awful.
I will say, I overall really. I overall thought this was quite a good episode. Like, things happened and things were going on. I think I was just happy that we were in space and things were happening. But I will say, I could not stand every time they went back to the Borg cube. I just wanted to fast forward it. I just don't even care anymore. No. And the ice skating in the Borg cube and all that, it was awful. I was like, this is the dialogue is awful. The performances weren't particularly good this time, and they have been in the past. Like Narek this time, I really didn't like at all. I was like, God, he's just awful in this episode. And she's okay, like she's continuing as she was. But again, and I didn't realize there were missing episodes, but that kind of makes sense because again, in that, even with that stuff on the cube, she's like, I don't trust you. You're like. You're hiding something, and I don't trust you. And the next second, she's like kissing him and in love with him, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, I'm getting whiplash from this. Like, from this.
And it's so how quickly he turns around from like they're like doing the nice happy thing, and then he's immediately accusing her of being like oh well, I've looked at the manifest. You weren't on that ship.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Hey, hang on. What?
It just doesn't make any sense.
Is it just that he's trying to throw her off guard, and but just badly written, or what?
It's really strange. I can't quite get my head around it, and I'm not sold at all on the Borg side of things. I mean, I think last episode got by because of Hugh. I was like, oh, it's Hugh, and he was great in reprising the role.
He looked really good as well.
I thought it was really good, and it made sense. And going back and watching The Descent afterwards, because I did go back and watch The Descent because I wanted to find out what happened to Lore because I couldn't remember. It actually matches. The scars match what would have been his prosthetics and stuff. So I like that. Yeah, he was really good, and I liked that they didn't. Unlike this episode, they didn't have a big fanfare. It was just like, oh, here he is.
Yeah,
it's just a character, and he's
the
here.
Thing is, though, I think it was the problem with that actually is I think it was so subtle. Most
a lot of people wouldn't
didn't
have known.
Realise it was Hugh.
But that's fine.
My wife certainly didn't,
and I think that's fine though, because if you've got people watching it that aren't fans, they don't need to know.
No.
It's just like he's an ex-Borg, and that's
true.
cool. But it's a lovely thing if you like are a fan of TNG. You're like, oh, it's Hugh. Like, you know, it works on different levels, but it doesn't exclude anyone from the table. You know. So the Borg stuff I hated. The stuff on the planet I quite liked.
So he leaves Picard leaves the monastery having not acquired the services of the young boy.
He's going to think about it, wasn't it? That he was going to consider it.
Doesn't he storm off? I thought he stormed off and like. You left,
Oh yeah, I guess he
you
storms
left
off.
me,
Oh yeah, he does. No,
he
you're
has his
right.
big-
He's
he has
like,
his
you
big
left me. I
coffee
see.
thing.
You abandoned me. I see no reason to stick with you.
So
or
he
something.
goes off in a
yeah.
huff, and Picard leaves.
You're right.
And then Picard leaves, and instead of just sort of going home, does the most antagonistic thing he could possibly do. He
This
goes
was
to
really stupid, and I don't know why he did it.
the bar. There's a bar which is only, Romulans only.
Yeah.
And he goes in and removes the sign and throws it on the floor and goes to sit down. It's like, are you mental? You're a like 100-year-old dude
Yeah.
who against Romulans, who I might add, Romulans are like twice the strength of humans already.
Yep. Yep.
And the fact that he's like this, in his prime, he probably couldn't have taken a Romulan.
And also, I mean, I know he's not part of Starfleet or the Federation anymore, I guess, but the whole point of that was not to interfere with cultures and beliefs. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, this planet has an established segregation. You may disagree with it,
Yeah.
but that's established on this planet, and you're just coming in and like, I'm Jean-Luc Picard, I know
Yeah.
better, and I'm gonna,
You should. I am the arbiter of what is good and decent. Therefore
Yeah,
you will do
yeah.
what I do. And then you get the sort of the ex-senator turns up, who was obviously now a pirate. They've all,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're clearly pirates. They've all got like
well,
sabers.
apparently Picard's a fucking pirate in the next episode, but we'll get to that.
So they've all got sabers and stuff, and there's he challenges Picard to a duel sort of thing. And
Yes. So this ex-Romulan senator is apparently fond of swords,
Yeah.
and decides to have a duel with
I
him.
actually quite like those swords.
I thought they were great designs, and again, this episode actually I think had quite a lot of nice design work. But I'm just glad we're not seeing any of the Romulans in motorcycle helmets anymore. That's
Yeah,
cool.
that'll turn up later.
I'm sure they will. So they have the sword fight.
Yeah, he's about to get offed, and obviously,
And then Elnor turns
obviously the
up.
kid does and cuts the head off. Like does like the most ridiculous kung fu sort of spinny moves.
Yeah, I
and
liked it.
Cuts the head off of the Romulan, which was like, okay, fine.
I liked that, yeah, and I also liked that Picard scolded him later.
Yeah.
and was like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, but you also think, fuck you, old man.
Yeah, I was
Totally,
thinking that.
yeah.
I was like, I've just
I've just
you
saved
just
your
convinced
life.
me, and now
Yeah.
you're scolding me. I would have been like, right, I'm
yeah,
off.
it's like,
Catch you later.
Fuck you, old man.
Yeah.
Sort yourself out.
But it was very Picard for him to
Yeah.
not be down with that, and I kind of liked that. And
then they basically beam up, and as they're leaving, an old Romulan warbird.
it's a bird of prey, isn't it?
Yeah, so an old
bird of
Romulan
prey.
Romulan
and
bird
they
of
say
prey
that it's an
turns up.
antique bird of prey.
Yeah.
They've captured.
Basically, a warlord has taken it over,
Yes.
and he's kind of running the space around this.
That's
bit.
right. Yeah.
It's basically
using the warbird, he's basically
Yeah.
kind of in charge of the planet because he has
Yeah.
such a powerful ship,
And
old as it may be.
You also get a sense of how big that
Tiny.
the Rocinante thing is. It's not the Rocinante, but it's yeah, and
It's a runabout.
it's basically a yeah.
Although it's got a
I
holodeck,
think
so I'm a
it's
bit confused about that.
Slightly bigger runabout, I think.
Like maybe Defiant sized it biggest. I mean,
Yeah.
the Defiant feels like
I
like
think
it would be smaller than a
bigger,
Defiant.
I think.
Yeah.
And it's what got me though is that they managed to make a space battle boring.
I quite liked it. I didn't mind it.
You didn't see enough of what was
You
going on
didn't see
outside.
enough of what was going on. I'll give you that.
There was lots of like shaking about. And one thing I don't understand about the design of
I hate the
ship.
holo controls. I still hate them.
What the hell's that big space of nothingness behind them?
I don't know.
Well, there's just like a big pit. It's like, what the hell's that?
It's weird, isn't it? Why didn't they have a bridge? Like, it doesn't feel like they've got a bridge. It feels like they're in, like, a cargo hold with,
Well,
like...
have you seen the Expanse?
Yes.
It's got a feel of the Rosinante about
Yeah,
it.
it kind of does, actually.
But that looks more functional, and it looks like everything's been designed for a purpose.
For a purpose,
Whereas
yeah.
this just looks like it's been sort of knocked
Well, we
together.
don't know any... There's no, like, history of the ship or
No,
anything.
well,
I mean, I'm
I presume
assuming it's a freighter
He's
of some kind.
He's a dodgy dealing trader, I suppose,
Yeah.
isn't he?
He's a smuggler or something, I guess.
That's the impression.
the
I got,
idea.
Anyway.
And so they face off against this old Romulan bird of prey. I thought the update they did in design to the bird of
It was
prey
quite nice.
wonderful.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things I think they obviously learnt with Discovery Season 2 where
Yeah.
they were like, oh, we need
No,
to actually
design.
and it's so frustrating they didn't do that from the start. because honestly, these designs are wonderful. I love the updated design. I like what they did with the Enterprise on Discovery. That design's great. I like what they did with the D7. That looked really good. They ignored the fact that they already had a D7 in the first season of Discovery, and it looked like a pile of bones and looked awful.
What was that?
But it's like, why didn't you do this from the start? Because these updates are lovely, and the update on the so difficult to say Romulan Warbird instead of Bird of Prey. But yes, Bird of Prey is wonderful. Really liked it.
I must admit, I did like the...
And I thought it made sense for the situation they were in. That it was the backwater planet, and that they'd found this... They got hold of this old Romulan Bird of Prey. That made sense, and it also made sense because I realised while watching the episode that obviously, because they're not on a Sovereign class starship, they need to find excuses to have lesser vehicles and they need to go up against lesser things, because if it went up against a D'Deridex, it's dead. Immediately dead. So
I think that so basically what we also forgot is, like, when he was on the planet talking to there was that whole, like, speech he did about apologising and I'm sorry for this. And I'm sorry
yes,
for
he did.
And,
sorry,
and
that was before the beheading. Yeah.
Oh my god!
See,
this
the
whole
thing is,
episode feels like a fucking, like, a white man apology thing. It's really awful. That was really getting on my nerves. It's like, for crying out loud. I mean, trying to put aside the whole fact that I cannot accept the fact that Jean-Luc Picard was fired from Starfleet and then went to his fucking chateau
and
for
did
14
nothing.
years and did absolutely nothing. I cannot accept that at all.
I'm in agreement with you there. I think, like,
it makes no sense.
I quite like the not that I think they're not doing anywhere near as good a job, but I like the undiscovered country idea of, like, you know, it's been infiltrated. There's evil in the Federation.
I've come to accept that.
Because I think, like, you know, it creates an interesting scenario. But you're right. The character of Jean-Luc Picard, it makes no sense that he would have given up there and then. There are people he could have gone to then that would have helped him.
Yep.
You know, we see in, like, All Good Things that, like, you know, even when they think he's mad, like the crew of the Enterprise, or the ex-crew of the Enterprise then, will still go out of their way to help him and see him through.
I mean, the thing about the crew not helping him is clearly just the fact that they don't want to spend the money on the rest of the people, and they don't want anybody.
They don't want them there,
and they don't want anybody to sort of, like, overshadow Picard, basically, because it's clearly just for him.
Which I don't think would happen. I don't think you're going to overshadow the character of Jean-Luc Picard, but it does very much feel like a Patrick Stewart vanity project.
Yeah, absolutely. To me, it is completely that.
So in any case, they have the space battle. So you found that quite boring. I didn't mind it. I mean, the thing is, it might be dull. This is the thing. It might be dull because it might just be that I'm, like, just so happy that we're getting something.
Yeah, maybe.
That, like, because I've only watched it the once and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And it might just be that it was like, oh, things are moving. Things are moving on.
Yeah.
Did you think as well, just backtracking slightly to back to the planet, the opening establishing shot of that planet when Picard beams down in his sun hat and all of that.
Yeah.
Stunning. It looked amazing.
Yeah, but
the whole, like, the scenery and everything they'd made in the background looked incredible. Then, like, a scene later, it looked really rubbish.
There's two things there. One, it was very reminiscent of Star Trek Insurrection.
It kind of was, although the design is very different.
And you know why? Because Jonathan Frakes directed
I know,
this episode.
I know, and we'll get to that.
It's like, that makes a lot of sense.
It makes sense, and I think it is the best directed episode they've had so far.
Yeah, apart from the fact that it's so chopped up and stuff.
I don't think there's anything you can do about that.
No,
if they've chopped it up,
so.
I mean, they would have chopped that up in post. So,
I think so.
You know, that's not...
Yeah, I think it's definitely got Frakes' stamp on it.
The camera works better in this episode.
Yeah.
But it was weird because I thought that establishing shot, I was like, wow, this world looks incredible. Like, it's really interesting.
It did
but then you
look
see
like,
nothing of it later on. It's like that one establishing shot they spent loads of money on, and then after that it was like...
It didn't make me think of Serenity, though. It just looked like...
Yeah.
I kept waiting for Mal to turn up.
Well, this whole series is very Firefly-esque, isn't it? So anyway, so they're fighting the Warbird.
They're losing horribly. Not only are they fighting them, they're also fighting the planetary defences as well, aren't they?
That's right. So he says, like, I like the idea that the the bird of prey is still very dangerous. It's just, despite being 100 years old or whatever, it's still extremely dangerous. It's just that the targeting's rubbish on it, and that it can, and because it doesn't have phaser strips, does it? It needs to be facing you effectively to be shooting at you.
That was. I think that was always one of the main problems with the bird of prey, was that almost everything is forward.
Yeah, and in fact, even on the Klingon bird of prey, it's the same.
It's supposed to be a get in and get out thing, isn't it?
Yes, it's an attack.
It's a strafer.
So then another ship turns up.
Yeah.
And assists them, cuts off the...
Did you not think, though, that whole setup for the other ship coming in, didn't you think how forced it felt that they were all going, the pilot, he's doing this, he's a really good pilot, it's like... Why are you all giving him a prefix?
So
there's no evidence that it's a.
So I think it's
you just go the pilot.
Raffi
Why would you do that?
Raffi and Rios both say he, and as soon as they said it, I was like 7 of 9. It's literally the second they said it, I was like, I know who it is. Like I literally was immediately. You've given away who it is by just being so forced in this, because they've never said that before.
No,
they're like they would like in next
You'd
gen.
Acknowledge it was a
in
pilot.
next gen, they never would have said like.
No.
Oh, he's hailing us. They would have just been like, oh, the Romulan's hailing us, or the ship is hailing us. They'd never be like, he. And it's like, don't you have sensors to know that it's not... You're about to beam them on board. I would like to assume that you'd fucking at least be able to tell their gender before you beam them over. Right? I mean, surely.
No, I don't understand. I mean, why would you need that?
All you need
to do is say that they're human or whatever.
Yeah.
So that they're not... You're not about to beam over something hideous.
Well, like a Borg.
Like a Borg, an ex-Borg, yeah.
Because they'd presumably be able to pick up that as well.
Yeah.
Like,
that was one of the... I actually quite liked the design of that little ship that she was in.
It was great, I'm hoping I'm guessing we'll get no explanation for it, but I thought it was a great design. I liked that it wasn't symmetrical. It was quite a cool looking design. Yeah, I liked that.
You get her turning up and then like immediately passing out and saying, "You owe me a ship."
Yes,
and that's basically how the episode ended, wasn't it?
So I mean and that's how the episode ended. I thought overall the episode was quite fun. I was glad we were finally in space. Felt a bit more Star Trek-y. Not sure whether that was just because it was in space or whether it was because Jonathan Frakes was directing it. Yeah. But either way,
was it just me or was the sound fucked? The
sound for me,
music is so loud in places.
So for me,
and constant.
I have struggled in all of the episodes to sometimes hear what Picard's saying and what other people are saying. The sound throughout the whole thing so far has been up and down to where I've had to turn it right up sometimes to be like, what did he say? Yeah. I might actually start watching it with subtitles because sometimes like it's not been great the whole way through.
Especially the sort of like the love theme sort of thing when they're having the conversation on the Borg cube. It's so loud. It's like, what the fuck is like? It's supposed to be incidental music, not constant tune playing over the dialogue.
Absolutely.
It was so jarring.
So, I thought it was quite fun. You not so much.
No, I mean it's.
Now I know you said
it's not making me want to tear my hair out. So it's not. It's not Discovery levels of awful.
I know that you said. You said there was a rumor or people had seen more episodes.
Yeah.
And the episode 4 was where it went off a cliff.
Going off a cliff.
Now, I don't think that was the case.
No,
but
I didn't.
To your point, I think the rumors might have been right. They were just an episode too early. Because the next episode looks awful. It looks cringy terrible. And I am dreading that next episode. I'm glad
I haven't seen.
Have you not seen the next time?
No, I've been trying to avoid those things. What's the next time?
Oh, fuck! They go to Free Cloud, mate. It's.
I'm presuming this is like a casino place. It's like Vegas in space.
It's Vegas in space. It's Canto Bright.
That's what I presumed it was going
to be. Oh no! I think that when we meet up to talk about the next episode, you might be angry. And I'm not sure I'm going to be too happy about it. I'm looking forward to hearing 7 of 9's like backstory, filling in the last, however many years.
Was it the Fenris Raiders? I think she's part of.
Yeah, something like that.
They're supposed to be. They were the guys that were keeping peace in the thing, but they've slowly lost control of it. And
right.
I think there's less of them now, sort of thing. And
yeah,
she's like now they've got one less ship as well. So
yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I'm hoping that's a ship that she's just kind of made herself, to be honest. That would be nice. But
I mean, I guess it's probably like reclaim Borg stuff, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't get a good look at it, but
No.
it's nice to see a new ship, like 2 new ships now. They're very generous. We have to see some Starfleet ships at some
bloody
point.
hope
We can't
so.
go a whole season without seeing one Starfleet ship. That would just be so awkward and weird.
Well, we haven't really seen much evidence of the Federation at all, have we? So,
They barely exist from
Yeah.
from the seam of it, which I guess ties in with Discovery Season 3, right?
Yeah.
But
well, I've been here. The thing about the Romulan Empire and the collapse of the Romulan Empire and all that sort of stuff, right?
which we're still
There was-
not sure about, right?
so-
They've not really
Yeah,
gone into
I've
much
been-
detail.
No, they
about
haven't, and we still don't understand it because they clearly were given time to evacuate, and there were all that stuff we were saying about the Empire and their own ships, and apparently there were at least 20 inhabitable planets within the Empire,
it. Right.
right? And somebody was saying about the supernova and how it affects the whole Romulan Empire.
What?
Yeah. but
One
the thing-
supernova?
Yeah, the thing that apparently I'd completely forgotten about, but they mention is it's to do with the red matter
Oh,
from
okay.
the bloody
From the Abrams.
the Abrahams crap.
Right.
So from what somebody I was watching saying,
They think
the
that
red
because of
matter,
that, it actually decimated.
it actually took out subspace as well.
Okay.
So it affected the whole empire, not just
God,
that thing.
that's fine.
A
Why don't
little
they explain
explanation
that?
of that might have helped.
If they'd explained that in episode 1,
Yeah.
that would have stopped so
But
much
again,
questioning.
This is all stuff that
people are making,
are
yeah.
sort of going by. I think.
This is the
I'm-
thing.
I'm
People
not
are
sure it's
filling in the
official.
blanks. Yeah. But yeah, I guess we're gonna have
It
to
would
wait
at
and
least
see.
make more bloody sense if somebody said it's because of this bullshit
Yeah.
device.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
least then you could say, well, that's a bullshit device, but at least it's a bullshit device that makes bloody sense.
It would resolve a lot of the issues or questions I have at the moment, and I'm hopeful that the series answers them. But
I don't think it's
there's
going
only
to.
11 episodes or something, so we're like almost halfway
Nearly
through
halfway
now,
through, yeah.
and it feels like we're only just getting started. To be honest, it feels like it's gonna be very rushed on the back end of this season. Just to kind of like, it's like, oh, now
Fit
we need to
everything.
actually do everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, so next
We also-
episode
we
they're
also
going to
didn't
Canto Bright.
Also, didn't talk about the brother sister thing, which is
Awful.
increasingly getting weirder.
I hate both of them,
and
and I don't care about either of them.
I did say when she turns up and she's like strangling him and stuff. I said to my wife, "Oh look, she's just been to Ann Summers and she's got like her sexy Basque thing on."
Yeah,
it's like why is she dressed like that?
I don't know. I'm not a fan of either of those characters. To be
No, they're
honest,
awful.
I thought Narek in the first episode, I was like, okay, we'll see how that goes. It could be quite interesting. But by episode 2, I was like, I'm done with this character. And,
Yeah.
and now I'm like, this episode, I think, was the worst that all 3 of those characters have been in.
I understand what he's. I understand. I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to sort of like get all the stuff out of her and
Without activating her.
her,
That's the idea.
Which is fine. I
And he
understand
does
that.
raise a good
But
point
it's
where he's
done
like,
so
we need to
bloody
kill all
clumsily.
of them, not one of them. So you can kill
Yeah.
this one, but it will not help you. We need to find where all of them are. But you'd think at this point, it's clear that she doesn't know.
No.
And the only way, I think, like, logically, the only way they're going to get the information out of her is to activate her. Because until she's activated, she clearly has
She's
no
not gonna-
idea.
Yeah,
like,
she clearly can't access any of that stuff on purpose.
although I guess you could argue she is accessing some of the
That's what I mean,
knowledge.
but not on purpose.
Not on purpose,
It's stuff.
So I guess it makes sense.
She knows all these things about, the Romulans and the
Borg
and stuff
and-
because she's obviously got the information, but she's not doing it by actually knowing it as
Consciously,
such.
yeah.
She's just sort of like. She seems to know something. It's like, oh, well, I must have looked it up or something, or I must have seen this somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's like, because they've only been alive for, I can't remember how long they said, but it's not long, is it?
No.
They've only been around.
They've got false memories, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So on to episode 5, which I guess we'll get to next time.
Right.
Which I think looks awful. I'm hoping the trailer is doing it a
I didn't
disservice.
see the next time thing. So.
Oh, it's not good. I think you'll be complete agreement. Maybe we'll watch it after this if you want to see it.
I'm wondering if that's why Raffi went with him because of the.
Well, she obviously. I'm assuming she just wants some bloody drugs
Yeah.
at this point from Free Cloud. That's my assumption, but
Yeah,
maybe
that's
there
what I
is
was
another
thinking.
reason. I guess maybe she is just like like agreeing to help him effectively whilst just being awkward. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because that was the other thing as well. It was like, why are you even getting involved in this conversation with John Luke? Like about this planet or about Free Cloud or about Maddox, or it's like you just don't care. You're just hitching a ride, so just don't get involved.
Yeah.
Just because, like, I'm like not sure why she doesn't just stay in her quarters and just not get involved until they get to Free Cloud. And it's like, well, this is where I was going. Bye.
She's got to come out and constantly scold Picard.
Apparently
for bullshit reasons.
But we will continue. And we'll see what happens.
I mean, the thing is I'm down on it, but it's still not making
it's
me
not
turn
awful.
off yet.
It's not awful. It's fine. Like, there's enough good in it to keep me going. It's just
I want it to be good. That's the thing, is I want it to get better.
I really want it to be good. I want to, by the end of it, to be like,
and I want it to feel
it was
like
all
bloody
worth it.
Star Trek.
I'm hoping by
Even
the end
though,
we'll get there, but
with the swears and stuff, it's to completely take us out, and some of the ideas are completely contradictory to the universe. But I mean, it is in the. I mean, the swearing thing still doesn't make sense. But the rest of it, it's like, well, it's in the future, so I guess if they've changed things, they've changed things. I'm fine with that. But we'll have to wait and see. I'm still hopeful, but I'm a little cautious. I'm a little worried now that we have only just assembled the crew. Yep.
And we're running out of episodes. Unless they're going to end this one on a cliffhanger and continue it in the next season. Maybe, I don't know. It kind of sounded like they didn't have season 2 confirmed when they finished season 1. No. So I'm assuming season 1 will end, and it will end the story.
Well, I'm guessing
and then
nobody wants to put the money in to make sure that it's more than one season.
Yeah, well, it's confirmed now, isn't it? It's happening now. But yeah, interesting. Anyway, shall we talk about some news?
Yeah, why not?
What do you think?
So, should we start with the Batman?
Of the Batman. So we've had a camera test, some test footage of Pattinson in the new bat suit. I think it's a wonderful design, and I absolutely love it.
The only thing that gets me is it's still an armored suit, which
only the suit part, the cowl is stitched. It's stitched leather, which I really like.
Well, because
it's obviously an early Batman.
I think it's supposed to be like, it's going to be year 1, year 2-ish,
which is great. I love that.
I think it's fantastic. They should have done more sort of stuff like that anyway. It looked a little Daredevil to me.
It's difficult when it's bathed in red to not get Daredevil vibes.
It was. I think the red was a bad choice.
But the shape of the cowl is kind of Daredevil-y. Without seeing the ears, it's difficult.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. Why have they not shown the ears?
Well, I have a theory. I have a theory that they might be going for a different ear shape. No, I think they'll go for a different ear shape, like one of the like 60s ear shapes,
really big long ones,
maybe bigger. And I also have a theory, and I hope this is true, that they might go for blue, like a blue cowl and cape, which is why they've bathed it in red. Because if you bathe it in red, you obviously won't tell the difference. That's true. And I'm wondering if they're using that to kind of
70s Batman type thing.
Obviously like a modern version of it, but have that kind of dark blue rather, because it's never been done with Batman. They've never done that on film, and I think it would be really interesting if they did go for like a real dark blue. And I wonder whether that's why they've bathed it in red, to kind of hide or mask the difference in colour.
I didn't think of that,
but who knows. I like the design though. I love the I don't know why I'd never thought of the bat sign being the gun. That's
apparently
awesome.
That's from a Kevin Smith comic.
Is it? What, that he wears the gun?
He hammers the plate out.
That's awesome.
The gun into he melts it down and hammers it into a plate for the front of his coat thing. And supposedly the idea behind it is that bit was yellow to draw the eye, to draw fire,
that was the idea,
sort of thing. So I don't know whether it's going to be like that, but it does look like the handle.
It definitely looks like a gun.
It looks a lot.
It was pointed out online, and when I looked at it, I was like, "Oh no, you can see that it's clearly part of the gun."
I didn't spot it the first.
No,
time.
I didn't spot it until it was pointed out.
That's a very odd looking bat symbol.
But I really like that concept and that idea.
I quite like that too.
Overall, I really like the design. It kind of makes sense because it looks like it's tough, and it looks like armor and.
Well, and what's actually quite subtle is that you do notice you can see it moving when he's breathing.
That's the thing I like, is
I
that
thought
you
was
can
quite
see
cool.
the segments of the armor and stuff.
So
It makes
does look like it's got movement.
it
about
looks like it's real. And as much as I loved the Ben Affleck suit for being like, basically that's like the Batman suit on screen.
I think that's probably my favorite.
It's my
bat
favorite.
suit.
It's my favorite so far. But
it's
it's
the Dark
not.
Knight batsuit, basically.
But it's
isn't
not
it?
terribly. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
No, it doesn't.
When you think about it, it's like people are trying to like shoot him and it's bulletproof and it's like it's mostly stab resistant and you're like, it doesn't really make much sense.
No. But the other thing is the other thing that people forget is that Batman's basically a ninja.
Yes.
So I mean, I know, that doesn't going to save you from bullets. But the idea is that you don't get hit in the first place.
Well, of course, yeah.
So
yeah.
it's
Absolutely.
he's supposed to be a stealth guy that like comes in, takes people out without them knowing.
Sure, and I guess I mean they're gonna, I mean I'm guessing they're gonna continue with that in this film, but it looks like they're going much more down the detective route, aren't they?
I think one of the things I heard someone talking about, which I thought was really cool, is that Zoe Kravitz, who's playing Selina Kyle, apparently she's got her hair is really short.
Oh, really?
And she looks very reminiscent of the Year One Catwoman.
Great.
Which is really good if they go that
that's
route.
great.
I'm really hoping they go that, because I think she's going to make a really good Catwoman, actually.
Because aren't they doing the Long Halloween effectively, but mixed with Year One? It's kind of the impression I'm getting.
It's about 3 or 4 stories mixed in. I think it's got bits of Arkham Asylum in it, bits of the Long Halloween,
There's certainly
Year
some
One, bits of like some other stuff. So I don't know.
I'm down with it. I'm
a little, because they were saying that he was saying that it was going to be more detective based.
Yes.
And then they announced
be like a noir.
all these villains, and it's like, okay.
Well, I think you can. I think you can do that because I think you can say that he's trying to solve a crime and trying to figure out who's done what, and through that journey he can visit these villains and you can see those villains in various
in a
places.
Sort of Clarice Starling type thing, going in to see the psychos.
Yeah, in Arkham, and also, I mean, even you could even have him like visit certain villains that are out and technically not guilty of something yet or haven't been caught yet.
That would be quite cool,
in his kind of quest to find the person behind whatever's going on.
That would be cool. I can see that.
That's what I assumed.
It's sort of like that bit in, like Rorschach going into the
which is
that guy's
apartment.
And
yeah,
stuff,
exactly, and you can get a real sort of noir kind of vibe from that.
I mean,
let's
talk about that tune.
I love it. It
suits. It's supposed to be the new. I don't think it's complete yet. But
no, I think
it's
an understated version of it.
But it sounds like a 70s thriller tune, doesn't it? It's got a
it
real
suits,
nice feel
it really suits a noir style.
Yeah,
I think that's the great thing about this test footage is that they've really set the tone and the style of what this is going to be. I really like it so far. I mean, it's very little here to see, but I really like it. I love that they've got this stitched cowl. I like that it's obviously early on in Batman's career. And yeah, the tone that I take away from this teaser is great. I love it. I'm excited to see the first teaser trailer, the full trailer.
Yeah, I mean, it's not coming out till bloody next year, is it? So
no, but I guess we'll probably get a trailer towards the end of the year or something.
We'll. I mean, the cast is phenomenal. I mean,
oh yeah, it's unbelievable.
You know, you've Colin Farrell as the Penguin. We've got,
which is going to be superb. I can't wait to see his
Andy
Penguin.
Serkis as Pennyworth Alfred. We've got Zoe Kravitz, as I said, as Kyle. John Turturro as Falcone. Paul Dano, who I really like, he's playing the Riddler, and I really like Jeffrey Wright as Gordon. I think.
Oh, that'll be great. He's going to be great.
He's such a great actor.
He's brilliant. Yeah.
He's the probably the best thing about Westworld.
I've fallen out of Westworld. I need to get apparently it's not so good anymore. Because I thought season 1 was stunning. Yeah, I'm basically where you are. Season 1 I thought was amazing, and season 2 I didn't quite get around.
Yeah,
but
so yeah, it's got a massively good cast. It looks like it's shaping up to be really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Batsuit was and I like Robert Pattinson despite the Twilight stuff.
Oh, well, that's not his fault. He's a great actor.
He is actually a genuinely brilliant actor
when he's given the right.
Anybody
role.
who doesn't think that, go see The Lighthouse. Go see. I mean, it's not. I mean, it's a hard watch, but it's a brilliant watch. Go see. What's the one where he's with his brother?
I don't know.
Hang on, I'll look it up.
But in any case, I mean, he's a great actor, and
Cosmopolis was fantastic. Where is it? I'm trying to Lost City of Zed was good in. Maps of the Stars he was brilliant in. He's been in some bloody awesome stuff, and he's a genuinely good actor.
The thing is, I think this will be the role that could get him back in the public's kind of eye of like, oh, because he's been doing great work, but I don't think he's been receiving the kind of recognition that he deserves. No. And I think if they hit this out of the park,
Good Time. It's called Good Time. It's on Netflix right now.
Okay, well, there you go.
Watch it. It's bloody brilliant. He's fantastic in it, and so I'm and they keep saying, oh, but he's really like slight and stuff. Who cares? You can always bulk up for it. That's what they've done with every other bloody.
Well, and they didn't
these last years.
They didn't with Keaton.
And
they just had like a muscle suit for Keaton, and that was fine. And to be honest,
he doesn't need to be Affleck size.
And to be honest, if he's meant to be a ninja, he doesn't have to be. He just needs to be like in really good shape. He's got armor that makes him look bulky anyway, so it works. It totally works. And I bought Keaton as Batman.
I did,
and he didn't have any muscle mass or anything whatsoever. But I bought him in the role.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, fine,
absolutely.
And also, I think it kind of it benefits the secret identity to not look like a hulking massive superhero in your free time.
Yeah, I mean,
because even when Affleck was wearing like civvies, it's like, dude, the guy is clearly built to shit.
Yeah, that's always been the thing with
and it
Superman
kind of
as well,
doesn't.
Hasn't it? It's like
it kind of
Clark Kent is huge.
It
Why
kind
does
of
nobody know?
well, yeah.
I mean, the idea was, I know he's supposed to slouch and stuff when he's Kent, and he's supposed to be, but still
bollocks, total bollocks. But also, he, I think being too built just kind of raises suspicion.
Yeah,
to be honest, and it doesn't work with the idea of him being a billionaire playboy. Because it's like, that takes discipline. And everything that he makes out with Bruce Wayne is kind of the opposite of discipline, right? It's kind of like he's like this bumbling kind of...
I suppose the thing is, though, he is supposed to... if he's supposed to be a ladies' man, so he would at least take care of himself.
Sure, but there's being in shape, and then there's being Ben Affleck.
A couple of hours, being going to the gym.
Because I thought Bale was fine. He was like he was in good shape, but he wasn't like massive. Whereas Affleck was doing the Dark Knight Returns.
Yes, he was.
Like huge hulking Batman, which I love. I mean,
I
still think Affleck is the best Batman we've had, and I will argue that forever. I think it's
not including Conroy.
Well, not including Conroy, obviously. Live action.
I know.
Conroy will always be my Batman.
Yeah, exactly.
But live action, I think he's the best one we've had, and I am still...
He's moved the best. I think
he's moved the best. He's been the best balance between. I think he did a great Bruce Wayne, and I think he did a great Batman.
I do think it's a bloody tragedy that we never got an actual.
It's honestly bittersweet because I'm seeing this test footage and I'm loving everything I'm seeing, but I still secretly wish we just got one movie with Affleck just doing a really good Batman movie.
I guess the thing with the DC universe as it is at the moment is that nothing feels terribly connected at the moment anyway.
No.
So we could still get
I don't think it'll happen.
It's
but
bloody unlikely.
As I feel the same way with Cavill.
He's not getting any younger.
No.
And the idea of him wanting to bulk up again like that to play Batman again, I'm not even sure he wants to. So.
No, I think he's been left with a bitter taste in his mouth about the whole thing now. I think he's done.
Yeah.
And I don't hold out much hope for Cavill reprising his role as Superman, although I'd love him to.
I hope so.
Because I think he was tremendous.
Yeah, same here.
Again, I think they were both tremendous. They were let down by the scripts in some cases.
They were let down by the
and the editing
studio.
In the studio. But not them. They were both tremendous. But I really like Robert Pattinson, and I like Pattinson. I always say that name wrong. And I also love the look. What I've seen so far, I like.
Yeah.
I haven't seen very much, but I like it.
No, it was a nice teaser. It's a genuinely nice little teaser they put out, and I mean, I think,
unexpected
well,
as well.
I think the idea was
I think it's because they're going to be filming outdoors pretty soon,
Yeah,
and they're like,
that's
"Fuck
it,
it, we need to like either we do it on our terms or it gets leaked." So
exactly, get it out there before somebody gets horrible grainy footage of it.
exactly,
And we're seeing it from 10
out
miles
of context, and yeah,
away. So yeah, other than the fact that it looked a bit too Daredevil-y for me,
I think the
liked
red
it.
didn't help.
No,
to be
but
honest,
it was probably definitely the red.
I think when you see it for real, it won't look Daredevil-y at
No.
all. Although I will give you the shape of the cowl. Looking at it here, it definitely has a Daredevil. It has like that Daredevil kind of contours. The Daredevil TV show,
Yeah,
it's got that very much
the
got that
later
design.
season design.
Yeah, it's very much got that
Season two-
design.
late
Yeah, not
season
not when he's wearing
Yeah,
like
the
a t-shirt on his head.
shit on his head.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yep.
I'm excited. I hope it's good. Hope it's good. We need another good Batman movie.
We do.
We just need bloody DC to sort their act out, to be honest.
Yeah, well, the problem is they've had another setback now that the Birds of Prey has kind of tanked. Which
Well,
is again,
seems-
that's their
it's
fault.
totally their fault.
They,
Yeah.
you know, they screwed that up themselves. So
I think these studios are starting to learn that that's probably not the way to go. Don't bash half your fan base.
Yeah.
Not a good idea.
absolutely,
Just doesn't make for good money, does it? So yes, of course we had a Stranger Things shocking teaser that confirmed
yeah.
what everyone already bloody knew anyway. Don't know why they added that last scene in Stranger Things season 3 that basically confirmed he was alive.
Yeah.
It was like, why did you do that? Because then this teaser would have been way better. It would have been like, what? We're in Russia? And what the hell?
yeah,
and
I
like
did
that
think
would have been
was
way
a bit-
cooler.
It was a bit,
But it was like,
counterproductive.
as soon as the teaser opened in Russia, I was like, oh, we're going to see Hopper, clearly, because he's obviously alive. Whereas I wouldn't have said that if we thought he was dead.
No,
Or, like, I mean, I wouldn't have thought he was dead, but I would have thought, like, oh, we don't know where he is or what's going on. So, yeah. I mean, it looks fine. I don't know how they're going to do this series. Like, is it still going to be set in the same place, but then also in Russia?
well, they don't even live. Half of them don't live in there.
Well, I'm
anymore,
assuming
do
it's
they?
going to
They've
be
moved,
set when
so
they visit each other or something,
Yeah.
just coincidentally while they're revisiting. For
Does that mean we're not going
Christmas.
to get as many characters? This season?
Didn't they say at the end
that
of the
would be
last
nice.
season? Didn't they say, "Oh, we'll be back for Halloween or something"? So isn't it going to be a
maybe.
Halloween episode or something? Maybe.
Yeah, I didn't remember that.
It'd be like a Halloween.
I mean, I'd really like them to go back to a bit more horror-y and less comedic-y.
Nostalgia trip.
Yeah,
I
because
mean that was the worst part of season 3.
I preferred season 3 to season 2.
Yeah, I did.
It started getting a little
Comic-y.
silly and too comic-y.
Yeah, there was the
There was
bits.
too many annoying arguments.
Well, and like the bit with the singing over the radio and stuff.
Do you know, I absolutely loved that, but again,
Oh, I loved it.
It was also
Initially, I laughed and I really enjoyed it, and then immediately after, I was like, "This makes no fucking sense,"
No.
and it was awful. When you consider the stakes of what was at stake, it was so ridiculous. And yeah, so things like that they could do without the like, oh look, it's so fucking, it's so fucking 90s, and so that I could do without when they were like, oh, here's like. They're watching Back to the Future, and then
80s, not 90s.
Sorry, 80s, yeah.
That,
When they're like,
actually
oh, look, it's Back to the Future, and then they're like, oh, look, here's like a packed theater on like the premiere of Day of the Dead. It's like Day of the Dead fucking tanked. It was not like the theater was not packed like that for any showing of Day of the Dead. Fuck off.
No.
Like it and the whole Mal thing. It was just like such a like. Oh, it's kind of got to that point now where
But the thing is that was I liked that mostly,
I liked the setting,
but it did feel
they just
really
went so
forced.
over the top with it.
Yeah,
And the thing is, I'm getting to the point now, and I love the 80s and the 90s,
I think
but especially
we're
the
both
80s.
massive
I'm a big
80s
fan of the 80s,
Yeah.
but I am sick to death of this fucking nostalgia trip now. Fucking stop.
I mean,
even now, it's got to the point where I watched the Wonder Woman 1984 trailer, and I was like, fuck off. And I want to like it because I loved Wonder Woman, but it's so fucking like, oh, here, remember the fucking 80s? Here's the 80s, guys. Look at all this fucking, like, we're in a mall. It's the 80s.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm just so bored of it now. Just stop. Just stop. Set it in a time period if you want, but don't go so over the top with it. Just why can't it just be set in the 80s without the need for here's all the sounds of the 80s and here's
exactly.
the best fucking hits of the 80s
you don't
and
need every sort of
and that color
80s
here's
thing.
the 80s color grading and here's the 80s. It's like, oh, just stop. It's so boring now. Like, it was really cool when they started with like Stranger Things and it was like a new thing and it was like, oh yeah, cool. But now it's so tired. It's becoming so tired, and I can't blame Stranger Things for that really, because they kind of started this trend, or recent trend anyway, because it kind of goes in cycles. The reason I said 90s just now is because I was thinking of 90s, because 90s is like the new thing they're doing now.
Oh, it's
moved on from the 80s.
Yeah.
I forget that Stranger Things was set in the 80s, not the 90s. But yeah, it's moved on to the 90s now, so everything's 90s movies. Captain Marvel is like, can't just be in the 90s. We have to have like all the things that you remember of the 90s in one film. I guess it's fine. It's just kind of, it's becoming like a really tired cliche now for me.
I'm still really looking forward to Wonder Woman.
Oh, I am. I'm very much. I thought Wonder Woman is the best DC movie they've made since some Batman movies. You know, it's been a while, and far and above that movie. It's the only DC movie I've seen in the cinema more than once of the new DC movies, the new DC
really?
line. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think I saw anything else in the cinema. I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen like Batman v Superman. Like, I've seen the extended edition, which I actually quite like.
Yeah.
And I've seen like Superman again, and Man of Steel again, and that. But in the cinema, I think not since the Dark Knight trilogy have I seen like a DC movie more than once in the cinema. But Wonder Woman, I did.
Yeah. Okay.
Mainly because I saw it, I thought it was great, and then I took my dad to see Rainbow in Birmingham.
Rainbow?
Yeah, Rainbow reformed. Well, not reformed. It was basically Blackmore plus a
new
band.
I was thinking, what movie's that? I
went to see Zippy Bungle and George. Yeah, So they were playing, and but it was at their arena. And the arena is basically like built right next to an airport, effectively.
Yeah.
And there's nothing there. There's literally nothing there. So we got there really early. And we were like, well, we can do food. And like literally we've got hours because we just wanted to get there and not have traffic or anything else. So then we were there and it was like, well, there's a cinema. And that was literally, it was like, there is a cinema. And I can't remember what the options were, but I was like, watch Wonder Woman because it's that good. And my dad doesn't like superhero stuff at all, but he really enjoyed it as well. He was like, it was actually a really good film. It's actually really good.
It's a great film.
It's a wonderful film, and I'm so hoping they don't screw it this time.
Yeah.
I hope. I'm there's no reason to think they would, but I hope they don't, because Wonder Woman's great. But yeah, I'm sure I'll love the film. It's just becoming a tired cliche that I'm kind of sick of now, to be honest. And I do think Stranger Things season 3 pushed it to annoying levels for me.
Most of Stranger Things season 3 was remember this, remember this, remember this, like a constant barrage.
And you're right, it was definitely better than season 2, which I did not like particularly. There were bits I liked, but mostly I forgot all of it. Actually, I had to go on Wikipedia when we started watching Stranger Things season 3 because I was like,
what happened?
Oh, he died. Okay.
There was
like Sean Astin. I was like, I forgot. Two things. I'd forgotten that he was in it, and then I'd forgotten he was even in it, and then I'd also forgotten that he died. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot he was in it, and I was like, where is he? Oh, he died.
Bits of that series.
Yeah, he was
really good.
But I'd completely forgotten.
There were certain bits of that season that I remember really vividly, and that was the end stuff with the.
Mostly, I just remember that fucking awful trip to New York.
See, now I seem to be one of the only people that really enjoyed that.
Fucking hated it. They were just fucking baiting a fucking spin-off, and I couldn't stand it.
Yeah, it did feel like
it
that.
Was
but
the
I actually
worst.
Really enjoyed it because it felt like she was going out, she was doing something on her own, and she was trying to find side quest. Yeah. And I liked that. I thought it was
I liked it. It just felt like they were pushing for a spin-off. Obviously, it never happened because people shat all over it and were like, this is terrible.
We've never heard from any of those characters ever again.
No. Which to me kind of says that it obviously was just an attempt at a spin-off that failed miserably, because otherwise they would have factored into the last season and it would have started like integrating in some way, and they just didn't at all. But yeah, so looking forward to season 4.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed season 3. My misgivings over the nostalgia trip.
No, it was still a really
it was a
enjoyable
very
show.
very good. There were some bits that like kind of annoyed me where it's like, oh, Elle's lost her powers now, and it's like, oh, she fucking
you can see
hasn't.
that coming a mile off.
Yeah.
I mean that's.
But
that's always a trope when you have a character that's ridiculously
overpowered. Yeah.
You have to have a bit where they lost. I mean, it's what happens to fucking Professor X every 5 minutes.
Oh, I that's not where I thought you were going to go. I thought you were going to go with, in my opinion, the worst fucking culprits of this in recent years. Fucking Supernatural. Castiel.
God.
Every season, let's find an excuse for Castiel to either not be around, be dead, or have lost his powers for the 50 millionth time. Because he's like clearly too powerful for the show, and when you've got him, you basically resolve every issue. But yeah, I agree. They kind of nerfed her, and that's fine. It made for tension. What I didn't like was at the end when they're like, oh, I still haven't got my powers, and it's like, oh, for fuck's sake. So that means that basically for the next 2 episodes of the next season she won't have her powers, but we all know she's going to get them back, and fine, let's go through that rigmarole of waste our time with her. Oh yeah, she hasn't got powers. Oh, she'll never have her powers again. Guess what, she's got her powers back. But yeah, looking forward to it. It should be fun. I don't know when it's coming out, actually. I probably should have paid more attention to the teaser.
I don't know whether they actually said.
Just probably soon.
Yeah.
I think it'll be Halloween, because I'm pretty sure in Stranger Things 3, they said, oh yeah, we'll come visit again. We'll come at Halloween. Or it was some holiday. I think it was Halloween. Or did they do Halloween in this season?
Well, they did the dressing up as Ghostbusters, didn't they? That was for Halloween. So
that was season 3.
Was that season 3 or was that season 2?
Season 2.
I'm getting confused now.
It's a holiday anyway. I'm sure they said they were coming for a holiday.
I would have thought they'd have done Halloween again.
Yeah, I'm not sure. They said they were coming back for a holiday, which made me think they were probably like planting the seed that this is when it's going to release.
Yeah,
because
maybe.
Wasn't it like Independence Day, one of them as well, and they released it on Independence Day weekend?
Yes.
So
maybe that was this season.
That was it. Independence Day.
That was this season. That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think they'll whichever holiday they've picked, it will be on a holiday again, I think, and they'll release it around that time. So I'm thinking it might be Halloween, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Because Halloween again gives them a good excuse to do the dress up. Remember the 80s? Yeah. Do Tron. All dress up as Tron characters. That would be amazing. But yeah, so looking forward to that. So should we talk about Masters of the Universe?
Yeah, let's do that.
So the cast list has been released for Netflix's Masters of the Universe animated TV show.
It has, yeah.
And wonderful casting. I am a big fan of all of this casting.
Yeah.
Go for it.
So we've got Mark Hamill as Skeletor.
Perfect.
Absolutely brilliant. I'm trying to remember whether he was Skeletor in a previous series.
He might have done. They've done a few reboots that I've not watched, so he might well have done.
I might have to look that up. Lena Headey as Evil Lynn.
Cool.
Chris Wood as Prince Adam. Now, I had to look him up because I didn't recognise the name. Now, he is the guy that played Da Vinci in Da Vinci's Demon.
Okay.
Have you seen that series? Dude, you need to see that series. No one talks about that series. It's a bloody brilliant show.
Right.
It's really, really good. He's this sort of like really cocky, sort of wide boy Leonardo da Vinci. But it's really cool. It's got like sort of slightly sort of like, not exactly steampunk, but like Renaissance punk stuff in it. And it's like weird devices and like really cool. And Vlad the Impaler turns up in it. And it's really fucking cool. And he's really good in it. I think that's... No, actually, am I No, that's not who I'm thinking of. That was something else.
Okay.
I looked it up. No, that was something else.
Well, in any case.
Completely discard that. That's something else.
Strike that.
I'll have to relook that up because that was something else I was looking up yesterday. Sarah Michelle Gellar as Teela.
So now I've not heard. I think I have, but not known that I've heard.
She's done a few
her
voice stuff before, and yeah, she's really good.
Yeah.
We've got Liam Cunningham as Man at Arms, who Liam Cunningham's a brilliant actor, been in loads of stuff. He was Julius Caesar in Rome.
Yes,
which I think was probably his biggest role. We've got Stephen Root as Cringer, Dietrich Bader as King Randor and Trapjaw. Griffin Newman as Orko, Tiffany Smith as Andra, Henry Rollins as Triclops.
Love that.
Yep. Alan Oppenheimer as Mossman, Susan Eisenberg as the Sorceress, Alicia Silverstone as Queen Marlena, Justin Long as Roboto, Jason Mewes as Stinkor, Phil Lamar as Hero, Tony Todd as Scareglow, Cree Summer as Priestess, Kevin Michael Richardson as Beastman, Kevin Conroy as Merman, and Harley Quinn Smith as Elena.
Kind of disappointed that Conroy's got such a... Well, it may not be a small role. Maybe Merman will be a huge role in this. I don't know.
But Merman is
a cool character.
Yeah, it's an interesting one to choose for him.
She played... Sarah Michelle Gellar played the Seventh Sister in Rebels. So, yeah, she was good in that.
Okay.
She's also been in... Oh, she did loads of Robot Chicken. Of course she did. I remember her doing Robot Chicken.
Yeah, she did a lot of Robot Chicken.
So, yeah, looking forward to it. I think
I mostly remember her as also the voice of the... I think it was the Barbies in Toy Story... not Toy Story. Small Soldiers.
In Small Soldiers.
I think she was the voice of all the
may
Barbies.
be right.
Yeah.
You may well be right. Yes, she was. She was Gwendy Doll.
Yeah.
She was the voice of Gwendy Doll. So there you go. I think it's great casting. It's by the animators behind, or the crew behind Castlevania, which, by the way, season 3 coming out in March. Happy about that. A tremendous group of guys. I mean, the work they did with Castlevania was stunning.
Fucking awesome.
I'm so excited for season 3 of that, and I'm really excited for this.
So Chris Wood, the guy who's playing He-Man, he's the guy who was Mon-El in the Supergirl series.
I've not
He's
watched
not the one I was thinking of. He's also been in Vampire Diaries and a few other things I do not know. He's actually in Jay and Silent Bob reboot apparently, as a Blunt fan,
Right.
which is really good. I mean, that movie is brilliant, but do not see that movie unless you're a Jay and Silent Bob.
Yeah, sure.
There's no reason.
I have heard.
There is no reason for you to watch that movie if you are not if you're not a View Askew fan.
Sure.
It will make no sense to you whatsoever.
Yeah, I gather that.
And there's a lot of stuff in that movie that really doesn't make sense. Like the stuff with the Ku Klux Klan. It's like, where the hell did that come from? What's that all about? But apart from that, there is some really beautiful stuff in that movie, and I really enjoyed it.
But yeah, so looks great, and looking forward to it, and Castlevania season 3, which March.
Yeah, because
season soon enough.
Really good.
Season 1 I liked. Season 2 was stunning.
Yeah,
and now I'm so excited.
The worst thing about
3.
both seasons is that
they ended.
It was like you can like do it in a single.
Season 1 was the worst one because season 1 like ends as it starts. It's like, oh, we're getting to that point. You know, he meets up with Alucard and like it's like, oh, don't end now.
Indiana Jones 5's gone into production.
Great.
In the spring, apparently. I'm still one of those things that I'm in two minds about.
Well, I don't understand how he's going to be doing it at his age now. It was kind of ridiculous with Crystal Skull.
Yeah.
Now it's even more... It's just absolutely stupid.
And I presume they're not going to bring Sheila LaBeouf back again, are they? Are they going to
I'm assuming they're going
to...
Or just ignore him altogether.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have another son.
I'd rather they just recast him. I think everybody would be fine with that, I think.
I mean, Shia LaBeouf's a great actor.
He is, but
that role was
bloody awful in that.
The role was terrible. And I think that's just the writing, you know.
Yeah.
It was written badly. So yeah, I mean, we'll have to wait and see, I guess.
What else is there? Rick Moranis is coming back to the movies after something like 20 years.
Is he coming back to Ghostbusters?
No, he's coming back for the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids TV series.
Oh wow!
So yeah,
that's cool.
Apparently, I didn't know.
He gave it all up for his family, didn't he?
His wife died, and he was struggling to, be away from his family.
Yeah,
and let someone else basically bring his kids up. So he decided to give it all up. Occasionally doing like voiceovers and things.
Yeah.
but he gave it all up to look after his kids. And
Yeah.
bloody fair
I think he
play
was
to
quite
him.
sensible with his money and just that's that.
Absolutely, very
Done.
nice of him. I'd love him to come back for Ghostbusters.
I'd like him, just even if he's a cameo, I'd
Yeah.
like to see him in Ghostbusters, because he did kind of become the heart and soul of
He
that
did.
that series in the end, those two movies. I'd love to see him back.
I would really love that. Remember that the movie The Hunt?
No.
So it's a movie that went away very quickly.
Right.
It wasn't actually released. So it was basically about a bunch of people who were scooped up and put in this place with like no memory how they got there.
Okay.
And then
one of those movies.
Then they're hunted down by, like, the far left, I think.
Right.
I think it's like that.
Okay.
And then shootings happened. And
it
went away.
Right.
So that's just got itself a new trailer, and that's coming back. The only reason I'm interested in this is because it's got Betty Gilpin in it,
Right.
who is absolutely fantastic in Glow.
Okay. I mean, I'm all for horror movies. It's fine.
Yeah,
You
and
know.
I think I'm pretty sure it's is it Blumhouse? I can't remember.
Probably is.
now.
I think most things are Blumhouse these days
Yeah.
that are horror.
I still think that's the latest one from Blumhouse that's been released. I'm not sure if it's released over here yet, but it's just been released in the States. Which is it's Fantasy Island.
Yeah, I think the trailer for it.
horror version of Fantasy Island, which is like, oh, okay.
I saw the trailer and I was like, it's not Fantasy Island,
No.
but I kind of like it. It's kind of a fun. It looks fun. It just doesn't look anything like Fantasy Island. It's just a strange idea, but I'm kind of down with it. Well, I'll definitely watch it.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of mostly it. I mean, I haven't.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Sonic the Hedgehog seems to have done better than most people thought it would.
I'm really happy about that. Even though apparently it's not a great movie, it's not on the same.
Oh, it was never going to be a
No.
great movie, was it?
But
the
apparently
fact that it's not complete trash is
I think
good.
It's gonna be. It's never going to be as good as I. Have you seen Detective Pikachu yet?
No, I hear such good things about
It's
it. Though.
really enjoyable. It's a
looking forward to
really
seeing it.
silly, like fun movie, and Ryan Reynolds is absolutely brilliant. You know, he is kind of just being Deadpool, but
Sure.
like PG,
Censored version.
PG
Yeah,
Deadpool, but it's still brilliant. And I think if it's even like remotely as good as that, I think it'll be fine.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I think that's about it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, really, for the moment.
Wonderful. Well, we shall catch you next time when hopefully we will have seen some films, because it's been a movieless. Movies made us do it this time, but I've been just blitzing my way through Battlestar Galactica and watching Picard and Doctor Who and stuff. So
I've actually been watching original series Star Trek.
have you? Nice. TOS. I like
On
some TOS.
Netflix, but weirdly, some of the episodes are out of order, which I
That's
find weird.
really irritating.
Like episode 2 is like episode 4 or 5 for some reason, which
Okay.
doesn't make sense because all of a sudden, like you've got like
Characters that
Scotty
die.
and stuff in like episode 2, and then you go back, and then you're in the episode where they've got the different uniforms and another Doctor.
Do you know what I watched?
That doesn't make sense.
Do you know what I watched the other day was the TNG episode with the first time the Visitor shows up. It takes away.
Crusher.
Yeah, it takes away Wesley. So the first episode when he appears, and I'd completely forgotten about that dodgy old chief engineer they had in season 1 of Star Trek: The Next Generation. I think he might only be in that episode. They go meet the chief, and he's just some big guy with a beard, and he just like
slightly balding. guy.
Crotchety old it's like I'd completely forgotten he even existed, because I always associate it with Geordi, but of course season 1 Geordi's on the bridge.
He's manning the bridge console, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't know what he does there.
Well, it's supposed to be rerouting systems, I
guess. Because normally it's not tactical, because that would normally be tactical, but tactical's like at the back in the
Well,
D.
I think
So
a lot of the consoles on the
they're like
on
they're like modular and
be,
swappable.
Yeah, I guess it could be used for multiple stations, I think, which was one of the good things.
But yeah,
about
I'd
that.
forgotten he even existed, and I was like, oh yeah, that guy. Okay.
Do you know one of the weirdest things I've noticed about watching the original series again?
Is it the remastered ones that they've got on there, or
I
is
think
it the originals?
it is.
With the CG.
It looks pretty good, so I think
If it looks good, then yes.
what is it with all the Irish accents and like weird Irish bad guys in the original series.
I guess
I have not noticed. I do not remember how many.
They got who
like
they
when
could.
Harry Mudd first turns up, he's doing the most.
Yeah.
Look at me, I'm like, I'm not dodgy at all. It's like,
Yeah.
why the hell are you doing that? What is that all about?
Yeah.
And like, I remember, I haven't seen that episode.
See, maybe
yet.
we shouldn't be shitting on Picard for so many Irish characters.
No, I mean,
it's like, okay, there is a history of that.
It's actually really scary how many of the original series has got so many Irish characters in it. It's really odd.
There are some great TOS episodes, though. I do really enjoy it. Like I said on the previous episode, it TNG and TOS kind of are pretty much on a par for me, and they swap depending on my mood.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love TOS. So are you watching it all the way through? Or?
Yes, I've gone all the way through. I
Can even fucking suffer through season 3.
I might tail off
Yeah.
towards some of the season 2.
Certainly season 1 and season 2, fantastic.
I did actually. The thing is what I started at, I thought, you know what, I fancy watching some old school Star Trek.
Yeah.
So I actually just went and watched my favourite episode,
Which is
Balance of Terror.
nice.
So I thought, right, I'll just watch Balance of Terror. And then I watched Balance of Terror and was like, maybe I'll just start at the beginning and go through. So I basically started...
It's weird how the Romulan from Balance of Terror turns out to be Spock's dad later on. No one ever questions it.
He's also a Klingon.
I know.
As well,
He's like everything. But they didn't even change the makeup between him being a Vulcan and
it's just a
a
different
Romulan.
costume.
And it is like, it's funny how like they were all so suspicious of him in that episode.
Yeah.
And then later on they meet his dad and they don't even go like, hang on a minute, wait, what?
No. I mean, the series always reuse that.
Oh yeah, lots.
And they still do, but I think the worst one for that is actually when you look at things like Columbo. The amount of like...
Oh, Columbo's
like,
awful for it, yeah.
Isn't William Shatner like the murderer in like 3 episodes?
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Columbo?
It's like you did it. I know you did.
Yeah.
I've seen you before. You did it the last 3 times.
We did it last time, so...
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm obviously really enjoying it because it's the original series of Star Trek, and I love the original series. But it's actually interesting sort of seeing things that you'd forgotten or like, hadn't really noticed before.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm you know.
There are some great episodes. I was watching the AI one the other day, which was quite cool. The one with when they do the
with the little comp.
Yes.
The comp, what are they called? The comp something or others, isn't it? The little sort of like things that float around.
Oh no, it
That
was
one.
it's the one with the
Exocomps?
That's
That
it. Yeah, sorry, it is that one. Yeah, yeah.
I think it's Exocomp, something like that. And it's that they've discovered that they're like almost like colony ships, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're like
yeah,
there's
yeah.
little things inside them that are like that has evolved.
Yeah.
I really like that. That's a cool. Because that's another one where they it's a sort of like...
Oh, that's right. Yeah, sorry, I was getting confused. It was that one, and yeah, because I did watch that one. It was the one with the when they're getting rid of crew, when they're like, we don't need a crew on a starship anymore. We can just use this fancy computer thing, and that one. That was the one I was watching as well. I watched a couple of episodes.
Next Gen or...
No, TOS.
Oh, the M4.
Yeah, the M4.
The M4.
Yeah, which was a really good episode, actually.
Yes.
I really enjoyed it. The problem with watching it on DVD, especially fucking Blu-ray or Netflix, is like it's just the fucking stunt actors look nothing like the people they're meant to look
you
like.
really notice.
I mean, Space Seed is awful. That end fight with Khan and Kirk is so obviously not them. But of course, with the quality of picture back in the day, it looked fine.
You would have seen it because it was designed to be on TV anyway.
And it looked fine.
You noticed so much.
But God, in high def, it's like,
it's
oh my
really bad.
goodness, that's clearly different people. But yeah, great stuff. So I'm I'll be interested to see if you manage the whole of season 3 because I pick very specific episodes in season 3. To be honest,
it's when you get to the episode with the space hippies. Mm-hmm. Oh God, that episode is really painful.
Yeah, maybe skip that one.
The space hippies episode is just so hard to watch.
But in any case, I think that's about it. So we will catch you next time.